Awesome. Hi, everybody. We are live. I'm going to let everybody know and make sure it's showing up here on my screen. I always forget to mute my computer, and then it makes all this noise. So it says it's beginning. Let's see. Oh, I see it thinking, yes, I can see myself. Fabulous. Please let me know in the chat if you can see me too. I am going to wait just a few moments to make sure everybody's arrived. I am so excited to get started. This recipe is so good. I'm also hungry. Oh, I can turn these lights on too. Woo, we've got light. Nice and bright in here. Fabulous. And it looks pretty good. Okay. So please let me know if you can hear me. I would love it if you could say hello in the chat so I know you're here and that you're ready to get started. Fabulous. Hopefully that is showing up for everyone. And we will get started in just a few minutes. While we're waiting, you can start just gathering all the ingredients you're going to need to make this recipe. So you can go around your kitchen and get what you need to get started. I'm just going to make sure. Yep, it looks like everything's good here on my end, which is really exciting. All right. Well, I don't hear anybody saying that it's not working, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that everybody can see and hear me, which is great because that means we can get started. I am definitely ready for some dessert, and I hope you are too. So hi, everybody. My name is Jessie Lane Lee, and I am a holistic nutritionist. I am a cookbook author and a cooking class instructor. And today I am super excited to teach you how to make my 4-ingredient vegan lemon curd. I'm so excited for this recipe because I love lemons. I'm one of those people that just loves my morning lemon water. I love things that make my lips go and pucker. So this recipe is such a good dessert for me. So what you're going to need today is all of the ingredients. So you need some lemons, about 3 to 5, depending on how much juice you can get out of them. You're going to need some arrowroot flour, which is the same thing as arrowroot starch and arrowroot powder. Bunch of different names. They're all the same thing. You're going to need some coconut milk and some maple syrup. And that's it. Only 4 ingredients. So easy. And then you'll need some bowls, some measuring spoons, some measuring cups, a lemon zester, a lemon squeezer or juicer, and a pot because we're going to be cooking it on the stove for just a little short amount of time to help the arrowroot start to kind of bind everything together. So if there aren't any more questions, we're going to get started. And I keep on saying questions. So if you scroll down below this video, there is a chat box there. And you can log in with any of your social media platforms or as a guest and ask questions. I just love answering questions during these live cooking classes because that's the whole point. So I can be here to help you and guide you and troubleshoot any issues that are happening in your kitchen. In addition to that, if there's any other questions you have about holistic nutrition and healthy eating, I would be more than happy to answer them here as well, especially when we have downtime, when we're kind of stirring and juicing lemons and stuff like that. So I'm going to get started with this recipe. And oh, I should also let you know that if you need to pause at any time, you can just hit pause in that video and it'll pick right back up where it left off. So it's a live stream, but it's also like recording as we go. So if you need to go to the washroom or something, just hit pause, run to the washroom, come back, and just pick right off where you started. I'll also let you know that there's a teeny bit of a delay, so I might see your question, and you'll have to wait a couple seconds. I'll have to read it, and then I'll be answering it. So there's a tiny, teeny delay there as well. So let's get started with this awesome recipe. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to dissolve some arrowroot powder, arrowroot flour. Mine says starch/flour. I mean, really, as long as it says arrowroot, you're good to go. So we're going to dissolve a 1/4 cup of this in some coconut milk. So I'm just going to measure out this 1/4 cup here. And this is what gives our pudding or our lemon curd the real thickness. This container is so dirty. Okay, let's see. There we go. So I've got a 1/4 cup. I'm not leveling it off and making sure it's perfect, but I can tell it's pretty good. So I'm just going to dump it right in. And I'm going to This thing just sprays arrowroot starch / flour / powder all over my kitchen. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to add coconut milk. So for the whole recipe, you need a 1/4 cup of coconut milk, but we're going to dissolve it with just 3 tablespoons. So I like to just measure it right out in here to save on dishes, and then scoop the 3 tablespoons out of that. And I'm using full fat coconut milk, and I'm going to shake it first so it's nice and mixed, and then I will just open it right up. So you can start doing the same. That's the fun thing about these live cooking classes, that you get to cook right along with me. It's so much fun. So I've got this open, and again, I'm just going to measure out 1/2 cup here. Perfect. And then I'm adding just 3 tablespoons into this little bowl. And that's going to make sure that when we add this to our lemon juice and maple syrup and everything else, it's going to be nice and smooth and not clumpy. So we're making a little slurry right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix this up. Shouldn't take very long. It should be not overly thick, actually. We just want it to be nice and smooth. So don't forget if you have questions, just scroll down and type them up in the chat box, and I will be more than happy to answer them. So mine's looking pretty good here. I'll kind of show you what it looks like. If you can see that, it's still pretty thin, so you don't have to worry about it feeling thick yet. So that's all we need. This is a really quick, easy recipe. So I'm just going to set this aside here and grab the other ingredients that we're going to be using. So we don't need the arrowroot powder, starch, flour anymore, and we don't need the rest of the coconut milk. But you want to hang on, save that coconut milk for something else because it's so delicious in smoothies and a ton of other delicious things. You can throw it in as your milk if you're doing granola in the morning. You can use it in other baking. It's really versatile, so do not throw that out. Or you can use it to make another batch of this because you're going to like it so much. It's not going to last very long, and you're going to want more. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting all of the rest of the ingredients except for the zest in a pot, and that's what's going to go on the stove. So first thing I'm going to pour in is the coconut milk. This is the leftover from the 1/2 cup that we had. And then we're going to try to get 1½ cups of lemon juice. Now, these lemons are pretty small, so probably going to end up using 5. If you have really big lemons or really juicy ones, you might end up using a little bit less. But the trick to make sure the juice really comes out is to roll out your lemon beforehand. So just get it on the counter and roll it out. This really helps with releasing the juices, and it's going to make it so much easier. Now you could also zest first. I'm not going to, but you totally could do that as well. Okay, so this is like, you can kind of see how squishy this is, right? I really rolled it out, so the juice is just ready to come. So I'm just going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to do it into this 1 cup measure because I don't like doing dishes, so I don't want to make more dishes, and I have this new lemon squeezer that literally arrived in the mail today. I'm so excited for it because my old one, oh my god, look at that, it's just coming out so easily. My old one was one of those like twisty juicer ones, and oh my goodness, I don't know if you've seen some of my videos. I think it's in my Mojito Squares video. The outtakes is me like literally just not hours, but like at least like 20 minutes juicing those limes. My arm was getting so sore. It's crazy. Yes. Chris is saying yes. You know what I'm talking about. These things are awesome. I'm so excited about this. Look at that. I can add the link to where I got off Amazon. So I'll add the link down below so you guys can, if you don't have one. This is my first time using it, and so far I am loving it. So that lemon was about 1/4 cup maybe. Woo! That was fancy. I just got a squirt. It's kind of fun. It should come with a little warning. I'm telling you, put the little handles to the side because it's juicing into here too. Droop. Awesome. So I see there's still a little bit left. I might just kind of squish that in here because I don't want to miss any of this delicious juice. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. And you don't have to throw these extra lemons. What you can do is you can save those and use them in your morning lemon water or just to flavor every day, all the time water because it's going to add a really nice flavor to that. Cool. All right, so we're just going to keep on going. So many lemons to juice. We want a whole 1.5 cups. Yes, it is a lot, but it really gives it that really nice lemon flavor. So that's why I keep on adding it. And lemons have a ton of health benefits. They are super high in antioxidants and have anti-cancer properties. So really great. I know a lot of people, when I did my survey, were saying they do really worry about cancer. It runs in so many families. So this is a nice way to do some side preventative kind of anti-cancer work. So good. And it's really cool. It works because the flavonoids in the lemon prevent cell division, the division of cancer cells. So it's really cool. I'm just going to juice this one. It's like a big one. I'm going to do this slowly because I don't want it to squirt across the room again. Yeah. This thing is so freaking cool. I'm so excited about it. What a good purchase. Woo! Okay, that's what I've also learned with these things. Go slowly. They like to squirt. There's like residual squirt. Fabulous. I have a question from someone saying it seems high in carbohydrates. Do you know how many carbs are in one serving? I actually haven't done the calculations, but you're right. It would be relatively high just because of the arrowroot flour, starch, whatever you're going to call it, because we're adding a quarter cup. You can actually look here to see what's, so on this container it says a quarter cup has 28 grams of carbohydrate. So there you go. It's going to be a little bit over that because we're also adding the maple syrup. The lemons aren't very high in carbohydrates, so you don't have to worry about that. With the maple syrup, perfect. It's by the quarter cup, so carbohydrates, 54. So 24 plus 54, there you go. That's roughly how many grams you're going to have. But that's for like 3 to 4 servings, so you can divide that by 4. If you're really good at math, go for it. Even though I'm a former engineer, I can't do math in my head. So I'm going to let you do those calculations, and you can get back to me and let me know because that would be awesome. Okay, so I'm almost at a half a cup, and I'm at, what am I at? 1, 2. This is my second lemon. That's why I say 3 to 5. It takes quite a bit. And I'm just going to, yeah, there we go. Okay, so there, halfway through the quarter of the second lemon, I've got my half cup, so I'm just going to keep on going with that and see how much I can get out of these. Now, if you wanted to zest these lemons now, if you're using one of the squeeze zesters, that works. With these ones, we can still just like pop it inside out and we can still zest. So it'll be totally fine to do that later, just because we're just going to add it at the very end, which is great. Oh, we have another question. Fabulous. Yay, you did the math. Thank you so much. It is 44 carbs per serving. There you go. Now we know. Thank you so much. I love that. That's great. So there you go, 44 carbs per serving. Because, I mean, realistically, it still is dessert, right? Like it's a healthier dessert in the sense that it's gluten-free. It's naturally sweetened because we're using maple syrup. But it's still dessert when it comes down to it. Dessert's still dessert. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to do another lemon. So don't forget, again, to roll it out. Release all of those delicious juices. Oh my goodness, it smells so good in here. I have a hangnail on my thumb that is starting to burn with all this lemon juice. Oh my goodness, so funny. Got some seeds in there. Awesome. So again, I'm going to do this slowly so I don't squirt it all over the place. Just wait, more videos I do with this thing, the better I'm going to get at using it, and I'll be able to tell you how to optimize the juice out of these lemons. But I have to say, so much easier than using the twisty thing. Although you can get reamers that are electric that work really well, I've seen, like amazing. So that might be a fun thing to splurge on if you don't like squeezing your lemon. You can just do it by hand. That works if you don't have any of the tools. It's working really well. And I keep on just shaking the seeds into the sink here beside me. Fabulous. Okay, so this is the end of lemon number 3. And I think this was a juicy one. We're almost at a half cup here. Oops. So that's why I say 3 to 5. It really just depends on your lemons. And these are organic ones, so they're even smaller than the conventional ones. So another great thing about lemons, I'll keep on talking about them since it's going to take another few minutes to finish squeezing, is that they're really high in vitamin C. So this is really great for your immune system, as we all know, but it's also really good for this time of year because seasonal allergies are starting to pop up. I've been hearing people sniffling and reaching for their allergy medication, and vitamin C is so helpful during allergy season because it really just boosts and superpowers your immune system. So another great reason to make this dessert during the spring or late summer if that's when your allergies come up. So that's now I have a full cup I've just added, and I'm just going to get a little bit more lemon juice out of this. Beautiful. My little lemon display happening over there. So I think, yep, probably going to be about 5 lemons on my end. I don't know how many you guys are at. Does anybody have hangnails stinging on their fingers? OMG, that's what I have. Hurts a little bit. And for this recipe, I also usually recommend to buy organic lemons because when you're buying conventional lemons, sometimes they wax them. And if you're using the zest, you don't want to be zesting with something that's not really zest, but actually just wax. So that's definitely something to think about when you're deciding which lemons to buy for which recipes. Lemons aren't the dirty dozen, so you don't have to worry about it if you aren't using the zest. You don't necessarily have to buy them organic, but if you are going to be using the skin, that's where all the pesticides are going to be hanging out for the most part. So I do recommend going organic if that's the case. Oh, this is going to be a juicy one. This might be my last. Let's see. Oh, lemon juice everywhere. So exciting. I love it. I love lemons. They're so good. So good. No, I'm going to have to do the other half. Oh my goodness. I also decided to buy the stainless steel one of these because I just knew that I would need something stronger than plastic because I didn't think plastic would like stay together. I'm just going to rinse mine. It's getting a little bit clogged with some pilth at the bottom. Pilth, whatever you call it. There, and now I'm just doing this last little one, and then that will be 1.5 cups. And I had someone ask me, is it really 1.5 cups? Yes, it really is 1.5 cups. And I strongly recommend using actual lemons and not just that lemon juice stuff that you buy at the grocery store. I find it tastes completely different, right? Because they're going to be adding preservatives in there to make sure it stays fresh for a long time in the grocery store. So I do strongly recommend going for actual lemons. So I'm done with my lemons. I have a nice little thing here. I'm going to save 2 of these that I'm going to zest. So I'm just flipping them back right side out, no longer inside out, and I'll save those, and then the rest I'll just throw in. Perfect. I'm going to wipe this lemon juice off my fingers. So we've got the coconut milk and we have the lemon juice in here. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to add the rest of my lemon juice. I didn't do that. We're going to add some maple syrup. So this is where we're getting our sweetness for this recipe. I love using maple syrup to sweeten my desserts because it is a really great sweetener. I'm also from Canada, so it's really easy to find here. If you're not, you really want to make sure you're getting actual pure maple syrup and not maple flavored corn syrup. Why I love maple syrup as well is because it retains a lot of its nutrients when it's being cooked or when it's being processed. So it's not like other sugar that's an empty calorie, empty carb. It actually has not a lot, but still a little bit of its minerals that are going to be in there. So now here's my mixture. I'm just going to give it a quick whisk and then we will bring it to the stove. I'm going to move my frying pan out of the way. And we're going to put it on medium heat here. The reason we're doing this is because we don't want it to be too hot. And we're not adding the arrowroot powder mixture quite yet because we do that at the last second. So I have it on medium now, so go ahead and do that. It's going to take about 6 minutes to come to a very gentle boil. And the reason we add this slurry that we've created afterwards is because arrowroot starch is actually really finicky, and if you heat it too high too quickly, it just totally disintegrates, and you lose that thickness it's going to bring to our recipe. So it's a little bit finicky in that sense. So I'm just letting this heat up. You could zest now. I like to zest probably in 4 minutes right before it comes to boil, because I find if these little rinds kind of cook for too long, it goes from sour to bitter. The bitterness comes out, which is interesting. So I just have this on medium. I'm going to stay with it and keep on whisking it every few seconds because I don't want it to heat unevenly, and we don't want to get like some weird bubbling over thing happen, which has happened to me before in a live online cooking class. Very exciting stuff. So a little bit about arrowroot starch. Well, we're waiting. Again, it can be arrowroot starch, arrowroot powder, arrowroot flour. It's all the same thing. And it's quite similar and easily substituted for something like cornstarch, tapioca starch, or having a brain fart. But there's one other. Oh, cornstarch, tapioca starch, arrowroot starch. Anyways, the three of them are usually interchanged. The difference is with arrowroot starch, it is a root. So when you're using cornstarch as a thickening agent, oftentimes with cornstarch, it's been made using genetically modified corn. So you really don't want to go that route because genetically modified corn has all these weird pesticides built into it on a genetic level, and we don't really want to be eating that and consuming it ourselves. Of course, there's always organic cornstarch as well. In addition to that, it adds a really nice glossy kind of silky texture to things that you're thickening it with, whereas cornstarch doesn't quite get that like glossy, thick, like silkiness when you add it. And it also doesn't really have a flavor, so it's really nice to add something like this. We're not going to taste arrowroot starch. We're just going to taste the lemon that's really going to come through in the sweetness from the maple syrup. So I really like it for that. And I created this recipe because the recipe I just posted yesterday, which is my lemon meringue roulade, I had the idea for that first, and I was thinking, what can I use to fill it? And I thought lemon meringue is just a match made in heaven that I absolutely adore, and I threw some blueberries in there because it's fun. So I decided I had to come up with first a lemon curd recipe that I can actually fill the roulade with. And you can make lemon curd non-vegan with eggs and stuff like that. But I decided to use arrowroot starch because it's something that I had in my cupboard, and I thought it'd be really fun to play around with it. So that's why I decided to do that. We have a comment, happy you're using organic and non-GMO ingredients. Yes, I know. I am very strongly against genetically modified food, so I always make sure in my home that I'm able to keep those GMOs out. In terms of organic, it totally depends. I really try to go organic with everything, especially the things on the Dirty Dozen list. Really important to go organic with those. When I stray away from the organic is when I'm buying stuff at farmers markets. Oftentimes you can chat with the farmers and they'll let you know if they're organic or not. Sometimes they're not certified organic, but they use organic practices. So that's when I'll kind of stray away from that as well. So this is definitely getting warm here. Not quite bubbling yet. We'll give it a few more seconds. We really want just a little gentle bubble going. So while we're waiting for that bubble to happen, I'm going to start grating this lemon zest into the pot. Now I'm using a cheese grater on the grater side, the really fine function, because my plain zester I don't know. I need to get a new one, but I figured this works. So it's just a little bit dull right now. So I'm doing it like this and being really careful not to grate my fingers. I have done that before. The cut is still healing. These things actually are pretty sharp. So just be careful. It's a little bit easier to do if you haven't already juiced, but we already juiced. Or you can grab another one, a fresh lemon, if you'd like to do that as well. So I'm just going to grate in here, and I'm doing 2 lemons that I'm going to grate in, so 4 halves. And that will give us a really nice tartness. So there's one is in there, and now I'm going to do the next one. I love this. And I can tell you more about arrowroot starch because it's probably new to a lot of people. It's actually from South America, which is really cool. And I mentioned before it's a root. And another great thing about it is that it's really easily digestible, which is really cool. So that's something for people who have digestive issues. This is a really gentle dessert because we've just got lemon, we've got the arrowroot starch, flour, powder, whatever you want to call it, and then we've got maple syrup. So again, 4 ingredients. It's so easy. Oh, and coconut milk, of course. I love coconut milk. So this is going in really nicely. I love the zester on this cheese grater is so good. Love it. Haven't gotten my fingers yet, and hopefully you guys haven't either. This is good. It's starting to smell really lemony in here. Oh my goodness. So, so good. And I don't quite have a boil going, but I'm going to keep stirring this. I'm getting there. It's definitely hot. I'm going to risk it. Yeah, it's getting there. Oh my goodness. That little lick I tasted, so good. I love lemon. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. So good. Another great thing you can do with your leftover peels, so you can put them in your water we spoke about. But another great, really cool thing you could do is if you put lemon peels in vinegar and let it sit for like a week or two, it's gonna give that vinegar a nice lemon flavoring. So when you go to clean your house with it, everything will smell fresh and lemony, which is really, really nice. So that was all my zest. I'm just gonna rinse my hands off because it's absolutely covered. And this is almost boiling. So we're almost ready. Once we add the arrowroot starch, flour, whatever you want to call it, we really don't do it for long. Because again, if it's heated too much, too fast, it'll just totally break apart and we'll lose that thickness. So as soon as this boils, I'm going to add the starch, stir it up. As soon as it thickens, I'm taking it right off and I'll come show you what it looks like. And I'm getting very close here. So if you're wondering, okay, so we've made this delicious lemon curd, or we're very close to finishing making a lemon curd. What do we actually do with this lemon curd, right? Well, the first thing is an easy one. Make a lemon, what's it called? Blueberry lemon roulade, lemon meringue roulade, which I just posted on Monday. It's a really easy to do recipe. It looks super fancy. So when you bring it to guest house, they're gonna think you slaved for hours in the kitchen, but you really didn't at all because it's so easy to make. And it's also Passover friendly. So Passover is just around the corner. So if you're looking for a nice Passover dessert, the blueberry lemon meringue roulade is perfect for that. Oh my goodness, we are so close here. It's getting so close. So other things that you can do with your lemon curd is you can just eat it like it's by itself. So what we're going to do after we add it is we'll let it cool. But if you like it warm, which I kind of do, you can just eat it warm. You don't have to wait for it to cool. Or you can have it chilled like a pudding. I like to turn it into a parfait where I'll do like a layer of chia pudding, a layer of the lemon curd, maybe some blueberries, more chia pudding, lemon curd, blueberries, and oh, it is so good. And it's dessert for breakfast, and I love it. So, so yummy. So sometimes I do that as well. You can squash it between two cookies and use it as a filling for a cake or donuts. Really, really good. If you do like a vanilla cake, cut it like through the center, pour a layer of this on, put the top on, then ice the whole thing. Oh my gosh, you've got a really good dessert. Or filling a donut, it's the perfect donut filling. All right, so mine is starting to boil. You guys there? You guys ready for the magic? This is when the science happens. So 30 seconds, that's all you need. As soon as you pour this in and as soon as you have thickness, take it off the heat or else it'll just completely collapse. So this is the fun part. Is everybody ready? Nobody's answering. I hope you are because I'm gonna do it. So I've got a nice, very gentle, barely a boil happening over here. And I'm just gonna slowly pour in the slurry. It's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to continue to whisk until it starts to thicken. And it does not take long at all. I already feel it sticking to the bottom of my pan. What am I at? 30 seconds, almost. It's getting there. Okay, we've got it. It's that fast. And it'll continue to thicken a little bit while it's still in here. But this is what it looks like now. See that? Really thick. And it will continue to thicken as it is still in this heat. And then also as it cools, it comes even thicker. So you can see here, nice and gloopy, thick. Oh my gosh. Smells amazing. So to chill it, let me see if I can give you guys a better view. I'm gonna like pour this on my computer. So to chill it, what you want to do is you want to pour this in a heat-proof container because it is still very hot. So I like to use these mason jars because I know they're safe and they're not going to explode. You could always just leave the pot on the stove until it cools down as well. It'll just take a little bit longer because the pot's so hot. So I'm just going to pour it in here. And then what I like to do is I like to leave it on the counter for a couple hours to come to room temperature before adding it to my fridge. If you add it into your fridge right now, it will really mess up the temperature of your fridge, right? Because you're adding something super hot into your cold fridge, and your fridge will be working overtime. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna have a taste because I like it hot, but if you don't like it hot, you don't have to. So if anybody else is ready to eat, we could do a little cheers. Hold it up high because this is very hot. And it dripped. I'm gonna taste it. Oh my goodness. It's so good. Very, very tart, which I love. But if you don't like the tartness, you can just hold back a bit on the lemon zest, and you can add more coconut milk than lemon, and then it won't be as tart. But oh, I love it tart. So good. And it's really glossy. You can see how like nice and thick it is. Really silky. I'm just gonna like curl up on the couch with this, and that's where you'll find me for the rest of the night. It is so good. I love it. Well, I hope you guys have really enjoyed cooking along with me and that your lemon tart turned out as good as mine. If it was too thin, you could always add a little bit more arrowroot starch. You would want to mix it again with a little bit of coconut milk just to make sure it's not clumpy. If you pour it right from the bag into here, it'll be like Clump City. You can see mine doesn't have any clumps because we did that slurry first. If it's a little bit too thick, you can always add a little bit more coconut milk or a lemon juice. But you don't want to heat it for very much longer than we did, because if you heat it for too long, you completely lose that thickness. That's the main takeaway. So if you enjoyed this live online cooking class, I would love to see you in the next classes that I have planned. In addition, I have a whole bunch that you can now purchase on my website. So these are ones that I filmed last month, and they're not live anymore, but you still get this interaction. And if you have any questions, you can send the questions to info@jessielanewellness.com. And before we go, I just wanted to let you know about my cookbook, which is now in print, which is so exciting. This is my Healthy Dairy-Free Desserts Cookbook. You can buy it digital or print. It has pages and pages of delicious recipes, over 31 recipes in here, just mouth-watering. Lots of them are vegan, lots of them are gluten-free, a bunch of them are paleo, and they're all delicious. We had a team of over 30 recipe testers testing each and every one of these recipes. So you can buy this from my website, jessielanewellness.com /healthy-dairy-free desserts, or you can get it on Amazon.com and .ca. If you just search Jessie Lane Lee, it comes right up. So if you haven't purchased it yet, I would say go for it. It is not very expensive, and it's just chocked full of, oh, I love this one. Such good recipes. It'll definitely be a family favorite. I also have some info in here on healthy baking substitutes and sugar alternatives. So I help you turn your favorite foods into foods that are a little bit healthier, which is really fun. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for coming out, logging in. I loved all of your questions, and I can't wait to see how your lemon curd turned out. So if you end up using it tomorrow or tonight in a recipe, snap a picture and tag Jessie L Wellness on Instagram and Facebook, and I would love to see it and share it with my people as well. So thank you guys so much, and have a fantastic night. And I'm just going to go this way to turn it off. Bye, guys.